Thank you. You may please be seated. May I, at this point, request the Commander Guard Brigade to please invite the special guest of honor, His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, for the wreath-laying ceremony. The Commander, sir.
A very solemn event indeed, right there, the last post. It's always been intriguing knowing what it's all about, and President Muhammadu Buhari is going right now to lay his wreath in honor of the soldiers who have died, who have been summoned here today by that last post. It's a bit of history about how that works. The bugle, they make the slow march. First of all, Mr. President and everyone else on the line with him, they make a slow march towards the cenotaph, and then the bugle calls on the souls of the dead, and when they get here, you know, we start to lay the wreath. It's a pretty simple ceremony and straightforward, but one that is very important in Nigeria's history and outlines, you know, the importance we place on those who have paid the ultimate price to keep Nigerians safe. Well, the Vice President is going right now, walking very slowly and solemnly to lay his own wreath in honor of the soldiers who have died to keep us alive right here in Nigeria. And there he is, Vice President Osinbajo, making his way right now to the cenotaph, and he's laying his wreath right there. A solemn ceremony, and one that should make all of us think about patriotism and how much honor we give to people who lay down their lives for our freedoms. And of course, to draw government's attention to some of the issues that the people who make this sacrifice have to face. Are they well trained? Are they well taken care of? Do they have the ammunition that they need to fight insurgency and banditry, kidnapping, and all the other things that are being fought in this country by men of the armed forces? And then, of course, their families as well. How much care is being sent to that particular area? Are their families safe? Are their families well cared for? And of course, you know, the argument has always been that if you do not take care of the armed forces, they would not be able to take care of you. We saw in 2020 with the NSAS protests and all of that, all calling for reform to ensure that these men who are saddled with the responsibility of keeping us safe are able to do their jobs without any hitches. There we have the Senate President, Mr. Ahmed Lawan, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, dropping their wreaths, laying their wreaths right there at the cenotaph, right here at the National Arcade in the nation's capital. A very important day in Nigeria's history. The 15th of January, of course, is the anniversary of the end of the Civil War. The Chief Justice of the Federation is making his way right now, very solemnly as well, taking his wreath and going to lay it at the feet of the unknown soldier. Now, this event doesn't only honor those who have died, it also commemorates those who are still serving in the military, despite all the challenges that they have to face. And of course, a lot of questions around how we can make the best out of the military. Earlier, we talked about how we can get young people to become more patriotic and take part in this particular role of fighting for the country. How do we get more people to join the military? How do we get more people to be patriotic? It's a very interesting dynamic here, where we have a situation where people are not well taken care of, and then you still want people to be able to lay down their lives for their country. It doesn't work that way, has been the argument for years now. How do we make the armed forces more appealing to young people, and how do we take care of those who are members of the armed forces at this moment? But if you're just tuning in, we are live at the National Arcade in Abuja, where we are witnessing the 2021 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration right here live on Channels Television at the National Arcade. We're seeing there the Minister of Defense and the Minister of the FCT going to lay their wreaths at the foot of the unknown soldier. And of course, we're not alone here at this moment in time. Based on the tradition of the military, we have summoned the souls of those who died according to our tradition. And so they are here, and we're paying homage to all of them. This laying of wreaths is a time-honored tradition where we respect those who have laid down their lives to keep our country safe and still continue to lay down their lives to keep our country safe.
Taking their turn next are the Chief of Defense Staff, the Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olonishaki, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ekwebas, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, and the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu.
Making the slow march right now to pay their respects to the soldiers who have died serving for their country are the service chiefs right there. And of course, they have been in the eye of the storm recently with calls from many quarters asking President Muhammadu Buhari to remove this particular group of men on account of, you know, the war on insecurity and its perception around the country. These men who are laying their wreaths right now have their jobs cut out for them. And of course, Nigerians have been watching their progress so far. Mr. President has on many occasions called on these 5 men to do more to keep the country safe, to change their tactics, to be able to tackle insecurity, look at soft targets, and those are situations that we still see around the country. These men who have just paid their respects have been in the eye of the storm in Nigeria for quite a while, and we are still watching to see how events unfold in the days to come.
The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, the Chairman of Nigerian Legion, and the widow on parade, please.
All right, so after that laying of wreath by the Chief of Defense Staff, the Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, we're looking at representatives of the members of the Diplomatic Corps and representatives of the Nigerian Legion and widow of a late officer or soldier. That is the sequence this is going to take, going to lay their wreaths right there in respect of those who have died in service to their country.
And the representatives of the widows, Mrs. Gloria Naji Umaru. Synoptically, Mrs. Gloria Naji is the widow of late Major S.K. Umar, who served and gave his last breath for the freedom and peace of our nation in the counter-insurgency and terrorism operations in the northeast of Nigeria on 17th December 2015. He served under 143 Ranger Battalion, Madangeli, in Adamawa State. Of course, Mrs. Naji Umaru represents all other spouses of the known and unknown loyal and nationalistic Nigerians. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, next is the firing of the 3 volleys. May I once again request that we all rise while officers and warrant officers in uniform are to salute. Also, we want to use this medium to once again remind our distinguished guests not to panic at the sound of firing.